Very excited to be speaking with my friend John Lombardo, the co-founder of Evidenza. I can say very sincerely that the category entry point for Scott Stedman in B2B marketing was John and his comrade in arms, the Waldorf to his Astoria, Peter Weinberg, and their colleague Jan Schwartz. That was how I got into this whole space, which is obviously where I have driven my entire career. So I am very honored and excited to be speaking to you, John. John has an incredible company, Evidenza, having left the B2B Institute at LinkedIn, and is one of the most thoughtful thinkers about creativity in B2B, and now more than ever, how the application of AI can be used in service of the insights that he has both been a participant in creating and obviously is a believer of as well. So John, with that lofty introduction, do you want to give us a little, start talking about what, when you started Evidenza, obviously you're looking at creativity in the B2B space today and the lack of application of certain principles. Why don't you give us a little, sort of some talking points about why you did this and what the challenge was that you saw that B2B CMOs today are facing. Take it away.
Yeah, there's lots of different stuff we could talk about. I mean, in my time at LinkedIn, I traveled the whole world, was lucky to do that, talking to lots of different CMOs and lots of different B2B businesses. And they all struggled with a number of different challenges, making the case to finance, working more closely with sales, how to do better market research, or how to develop better creative. I mean, there's a bunch of different challenges that they faced. In some ways, all of them have a common need, which is kind of like you need evidence to make some sort of decision around like research or segmentation or creative or finance. But you need evidence to kind of make the case to other teams internally. And that's why the name of the company is Evidenza. We give you the Evidenza to support, your marketing efforts to build more effective campaigns and build bigger
And you work
teams.
in North America too, right? I mean, this is not a strictly a EMEA company, right?
No, it's not. It's not. It's a very American company, but we have like the capitalistic passion of an American, but like the culinary passion of an Italian. So we have all of that. But in the end, I mean, it's hard in B2B to find the data you need to make decisions. Is the truth.
100%.
And we saw that firsthand at the B2B Institute, where we were doing wonderful research with Ehrenberg-Bass and lots of other partners. But the reality is that research is what like a lot of VCs call a very low NPS, high fragmented industry. And the reality is there are no good solutions and there's lots of bad solutions. And it is because it is super slow and super expensive often to do research with companies or customers, particular customers. And AI helps you to do that much faster. So something that used to take 3 months to do now takes, 30 minutes to do. And so now you can ask customers whatever questions you want and get whatever research insights you need. You can do segmentation 100 times in a day. You can think about what are the needs and then what's the financial value of all those needs. And I can rank them from top to bottom. And you can use kind of what we'd call category entry points, but people would call needs to kind of justify why you're doing a brand campaign focusing on these 3 messages, because it links back to the category value and the customer needs, which are ranked in financial order. So there's a whole lot that AI can do around faster, cheaper, deeper insights. And everybody, I feel, who's in marketing needs to be thinking about how they're going to use AI. I mean, we're thinking about it every day, all the time, but it is, we're always under pressure to do more with less. And AI helps you do that in many ways, even much better.
So one thing that obviously you're building the application of AI around market research in service of more salient, more powerful, more emotive creative, right? For the most part, right? That's how I understand it. So, I mean, why I would say this is an area that in B2B, there is a lot of like cocktail hugs and high fives about. And then when it comes down to the brass tacks of tactically investing and doing the work to bring creativity to an ICP or a campaign, whatever, however you want to frame it, a lot of people just aren't doing it, right? So can you describe why is the juice worth the squeeze in B2B, and what friction you think is making it hard I mean, Peter, I wish I could quote off the top of my head Peter's last post about, it was one of, it was a doozy about, just how unfathomably bad creative is that is coming out of B2B as an industry, and, and why we're in that situation, basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously B2B is really all about what often people call performance marketing. I obviously dispute that claim, but it is, let's call it bottom funnel marketing or something like that, which is all about an immediate sale. But as we know, and that's just because finance and sales are, and engineering are more dominant in B2B companies than in B2C companies. And so you have this kind of very rational approach to something that is actually um, rational is kind of wrong in that. Rational is right in the sense that like that will help you get a sale, but it's irrational to believe that everybody wants to buy now, right? So this is kind of like
Right.
95.
This is the 95
The
5 rule.
reality is like that's the pressure, right? And the pressure is partly because it's easy to justify those metrics. It is not easy to explain at the top of the funnel how investing in a brand campaign increases mental availability across these buying situations and makes either the sales job or the marketing kind of conversion faster, cheaper, better, right?
Mhm.
But that's changing because you do now have the ability at the top of the funnel, let's call it, to use tools like the one we're building where you can assess. Like we love the ABLE framework, nobody uses it, but an ad in order to do well needs to have attention, needs to be well branded, needs to link to the key buying situation, and you can bring in financial values there. And then all collectively, if it gets attention, it's well branded, it links to the buying situation, it will generate money for you. But you need to be
Yeah.
able to test that, and you need to be able to test that framework against very specific, hard to reach audiences. That's really not possible in the B2B world because you can't reach those people. You can't reach them cheaply and quickly. With AI, you can create basically digital twins of those people. You can survey them instead of surveying real people, and you can do it all in a day now. So now you actually have the data to be able to go to sales or go to finance or go to engineering and say, we tested all these messages. We know that this message will get your attention. It is going to have our brand, so we'll be remembered. It links it links to the buying situation. So that makes product happy. It makes sales happy who are trying to get people to use the product or buy the product. And then it makes finance happy because you can say, in that situation is worth this much money, and we get with a better ad campaign, more kind of share of that situation. And here's the financial value we can expect. So you have to bring kind of commerce and creativity together. And I don't think it's been entirely possible to do that in the world of B2B until today. Whereas you probably could have kind of done that in the past in B2C and can do that because it is cheaper to get anybody with teeth or anybody who drinks a beer to take a survey. That's not true in B2B.
Mm-hmm. And as far as the chat, when you speak to your clients, these CMOs of fantastic brands, what is the friction that they are finding when they try to bring an Ehrenberg-Bass point of view to their brand?
I would say that they don't even know they should bring Ehrenberg-Bass to their C-suite or to their
Mm-hmm.
marketing department. I mean, most people, Peter did write a post about this and the three revolutions, right? B2B, AI, and EBI.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman said, I go everywhere and I ask people, have you heard of EBI? If so, raise your hand, and nobody raises their hand. So, apropos mental availability, like EBI, marketing effectiveness, marketing science has a huge mental availability problem.
Byron
So
Sharp just needs a larger media budget. He has to go to the CFO of the University of New Zealand or something.
I mean, they do it. They do an amazing job, and they market themselves as well as they can. And we all kind of, are preaching the choir, preaching the gospel right there. But that just more people need to know about it because it is a very rigorous, thoughtful way of kind of thinking about advertising. But that's the biggest problem: is just raising awareness of it, raising status of it,
Mm-hmm.
which we're all trying to do. So that's the big problem. But I mean, the other big problem I would say is just generally that, and even Ehrenberg-Bass here, like they are rigorous academic scientists, so they don't want to overstate their claim. They don't often translate the work into financial value,
Right.
or they don't do as much work in that way as maybe sometimes you would want them to do. And so that's where practitioners like us have to try to link all the core concepts, explain the core concepts, and then link the core concepts to financial value. And so, but it's awareness of it and then linking it to finance that are the two big problems, let's call it, or two big needs. But the
Mm-hmm.
truth is also that the linking to financial values is hard because, John Wanamaker said like 150 years ago, I know half of my budget is wasted. I don't know which half, right? So this is an ongoing issue, the idea of like marketing attribution. But I mean, on the other hand, you could make the claim that and I don't know who said it, but I love it. More fiction has been written in Excel than in Word. So, the reality is,
I've
like,
never heard that one. That's great.
we as brand marketers ought to write our kind of marketing plans in some sense as much in Excel as we do in PowerPoint, because there our fiction is just as compelling as the fiction from the sales team or the product
Yeah.
team. And especially it's very helpful in talking to the finance team, and the finance team talks in Excel. So,
Yeah.
you kind of have to bring all these things together, but
Totally.
it is, there's many things that need to happen together. So it is in some sense still B2B, AI, EBI, finance. Like that's the magic combination
Yep.
that we're working towards, and a lot of people are working towards.
And if you had to think of one thing that you're most proud of in the work that you've been doing, I don't know, you don't need to get specific about a client or anything like that, but if you were to think of a thing specifically that you've done around this, or an insight that has really blown your mind since you started this really great company and have been, tackling these really, I will say this, you're a friend of mine, but like at the forefront of a number of notable things happening for a very, very important part of the marketing ecosystem that doesn't always get quite as much attention. What is the thing that's blown your mind the most? Or that
I
you're
think
most
there's,
proud of having done,
yeah, I would say the thing that I'm the most proud of having done is something that Ritson talks a lot about, which is like, he says, people always ask him, like, if you could give marketers one piece of advice or wish one thing for marketers, what would you wish? And he always says market orientation. To borrow the Bezosism here, it would be work backwards from your customer. And what we do is we give you insight into your customer and your category in almost instantaneously in a way that you've never had, especially in B2B. So I'm extremely proud of the fact that we are focused on the customer and the customer need. And then we kind of carry that through the line from research to segmentation to targeting to positioning to creative to kind of measurement, all of that. So I'm most proud of that, I would say. And the thing I'm most excited about doing going forward is translating all that wonderful customer kind of obsession into financial marketing plans, because that's where all of this needs to go. Like the big companies in the world, in the tech world or the finance world, they are in 50 markets and they have 9 different lines of business. They need 450 amazing singing from the same hymn sheet financial marketing plans. And I want to be
Yeah.
able to do that for them. And I want marketing, especially in B2B, to have as much status as sales or finance or product. We don't have it today. I want us to get there. And I think understanding the customer and building financial marketing plans will be the thing that gets us back to the top of the pyramid or the C-suite or the board in B2B.
I think count me in. I look forward to being an observer on the journey. Maybe I'll visit you at the top of the pyramid, brother. Thank you very much, John. Appreciate it. And I will talk to you soon.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.